Welcome to the Trails Committee meeting November 7th, calling the meeting to order at 7:37 p.m. We'll do a roll call vote. When I call your name, let me know that you're here. Will Warren.
Here.
Satyendra Sharma.
Here.
And Kat McKee here. Great. Tom is running a little late from a work meeting. He may be able to join us when he's on his way back. Okay. So we have some interesting developments. Well, first order of business is the minutes. I couldn't find them, so I apologize. We can take the minutes up at the 1023 minutes up at the next meeting. So I'll circulate those in advance. Next up is the Peninsula Trail Phase 1 Mass Trails Grant. So this is going to kind of merge with, and this is clock on Sati, for the tracking the time. Yep. This is going to merge a little bit with number 6, the DCR Trails Conference recap. So Will and I attended the DCR conference on the 26th of October, and it was held in Worcester at the DCU Center. And I thought the sessions were really great. We got some good information. And as a result of it, we have some new developments. But I wanted to hear from Will. How was your experience with the conference? Do you have anything to add as far as specifics that you picked up while you were there?
I would say that there were a lot of good presentations. The one that I liked was the one about the bicycles for the handicapped. That was very interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was just a whole plethora of very interesting things. I guess it was also very interesting. There were a number of state representatives who attended, and they answered questions about their support for trails and what was happening. And it sounds like trails is slowly but surely marching onward, which is good.
I attended a couple of good sessions on diversity and inclusion. That's something we've always kind of talked about, how to create more inclusion with our trails, how we create the signage to be more inclusive, how do we get more diverse population to participate in the trails in Southborough. So a lot of great ideas. And as a result of one of the sessions that talked about Indigenous people and, how to kind of be more inclusive in that area. And we've talked about the Native Americans in our area and including some of the information in some way on the signs. So we made an important connection with someone in Framingham who did some signage, and they made a good contact from the Nipmuc tribe, I think it was. And if it's not exactly that tribe, he's linked into the Native Americans in this area, so he'll still be able to help. But it was an important contact to make. The person can provide, maps and images and really talk about some of the history. So as a result, I think what I've recommended or what I've put in motion to do is I've asked, and we spoke with the Mass Trails Grant Administrator, and we've requested a time extension for the Mass Trails Grant. And the grant has a built-in extension of up to a year. So I have submitted that request. You essentially submit an amendment request, and then they have sent back a state contract. Mark Purple has signed it, and that's now going through the process with DCR and the Mass Trails Grant Administrators. They're meeting on the 20th of November to discuss all their contract changes and such. And so we'll hear back at that point what should be a pretty standard just extension of the trails of the project. And what that will do for us is a couple of things. It gives us a little more time. And the rationale I used was because we do want to be inclusive. We want to take a little more time with our research, with the historical information that we're putting on our interpretive signs. So this extension will help do that. And so I thought it was an important development and want to hear from you guys what you're thinking about what I just said.
When you say When you say an extension, what exactly gets extended?
Requirements. So essentially, we would have another year to finish the project.
And so the money that we have so far gotten will not go anywhere in that time?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Now, that doesn't include necessarily the money from the select board, though.
Yeah, this is different.
Okay.
Yep. So I was pleased to, I don't know, Sati, if you have any comments or thoughts.
No, it is good. I mean, so just to understand, so it was because the diversity and inclusion
Yeah, so we can,
sessions that we
yeah.
you joined.
So yeah, essentially what we were introduced to new information about and a way we can approach the signage that will be more inclusive of diverse groups. And instead of, if you recall, some of our conversations about the signage was, let's highlight the people that helped build the dam. Let's highlight the people who lived there before the dam was built, before the reservoir was built. But why stop there? Why stop with just the colonials? You know, let's go all the way. Who lived there before we even came to this area? So I think it would be really great to highlight that information where it hasn't been really, you know, I think they're trying to do that in historical commission has, or even the commission, the historical society has tried to highlight some of the Native American, you know, we have the burial ground and things like that downtown. But this will be a nice segue and a nice way of including that information. And I think a lot of people would be very interested in that as well. So for a good cause that we would request the extension, and that's primarily the reason why. It takes off a little bit of time pressure too to get it done by December 31st. So that's a good thing. However, we'd still like to move forward at a steady clip and really focus on the first half of next year, like, Q1. And the install may be a little bit into Q2, just depending on when the ground, is workable again for sign installs. So that's the development there.
It's just the sign. So does it also entail more money, or the same money is same?
No, all the money and the match stays the same. No
Okay.
change. It's just a time extension.
Okay.
Yep. And so, so we'll report back when that gets finalized. But for now, that's where that is. And this is a good next step is also in phase one is the paving, right? So last time we met, we were reaching out to three groups, and one was asphalt engineering, one was mass pavers. I think that's what it's called. And
Master pavers.
Master pavers.
Master paving, yeah.
Yep, master paving. And then the other one was a recommendation from Bill Cundiff, which is Newport Construction Corps. So we have received one quote from Asphalt Engineering, which we'll go over in a moment. The other two have been what I would call non-responsive. So Newport Construction has reached out a couple times. I mean, I've reached out to them and they've responded a couple times, but we've not been able to connect. So I don't have a quote from the other two companies. Given the time frame and the timing of things and the season's coming to a close now, Asphalt said they'll pave into early in December, but it's barring, it depends on the weather, and that's an important factor that we don't want to push too quickly. So if we can't get the other two quotes now, I've reached out to Bill and to Travis, Director of Recreation, to say, hey, look, we would like two quotes, but given where we are with the timing, and we have, reached out, and even though we've demonstrated that we've reached out, that's considered a non-responsive response. So I don't want to rush this, but I want to see if we can move forward with the quote that we have, because we don't have a lot of time to wait for others to get back to us. So I want to make sure we're doing the right approach. And, I have Bill looking at the quote. And so that's encouraging that he'll be able to review it and make sure it makes sense from his perspective and his experience. And that's the DPW Superintendent, Bill Cundiff.
Mm.
Okay. So I think if we don't have any other questions at this point, we can look at the quote if you're ready.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay. So what I asked is it sharing? Are you seeing my screen? Are you guys seeing something? What are you seeing?
Yeah, asphalt engineering.
Yeah, it looks like,
Do you see asphalt engineering?
yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
Okay,
I see it.
perfect. Okay, great. Okay, so actually, let me do something real quick. Here, let me stop sharing because I end up sharing something personal every time I try to do this. So I'm going to pull up the engineering plans so we can review those because those came in from Beals. So we'll look at that first. Thank you for your patience. Okay, now you should see some PDF.
Yes.
Everybody see this? Okay, so I'm gonna try to get rid of that and try to work through this. Okay, so this is the parking area. Okay, this is the path in the middle, the access road. Okay, the gate's over here. Wait, no, the gate's right here. The second gate is right here. The other gate is down here. Okay, so this is the ADA parking, 2 spots, 1 van, 1 car. Okay. And when Bill Cundiff initially provided us a rough estimate quote, he had sketched out 3 different spots over on this side. And that's more than we talked about doing, right? We talked about our commitment was, and what we wrote into the grant was we would do 2 ADA parking spots, period. However, given the space we have, right, we have the opportunity as a committee to put 3 more regular parking spots in. And in addition to the initial parking at the first gate, which you can fit maybe, well, it depends on how you park. You can fit between 4 and 5 cars smart parked. Okay. So I asked the firm, the engineering firm, I asked the paving companies to give us 2 quotes, one for just the ADA and the other for all of it, right? For the other, because I thought if we have an opportunity to put in more parking, let's maybe take advantage of that if the committee agrees. And especially because the delay of the parking on the other side because of the crosswalk complications isn't going to come through right away. It's going to be a longer term initiative that this gives us more parking now, which we do need at this trailhead. Okay.
Actually, I mean, this is great. 2 questions, the cost, and then the second question would just be, if we're adding spots here, do we really need to try and open a can of worms over there?
Yeah. Well, do we need to? I think it's a good question. I think it would be great to have parking on both sides. So I think and it's wonderful that we have a business that's interested in partnering. I would like to try to take advantage of that opportunity if we can. So I think this helps relieve some of the parking pressure that we're, experiencing by building and opening a trail, but it would be wonderful to have a parking on the other side, especially because we are building a bridge and a boardwalk that's going to, it's going to have some attention initially, especially. So it'd be nice to have parking closer to that area.
Well, I guess maybe another question would be, would this reduce the urgency of trying to get the second parking area? It might
takes the
be,
pressure off, sure.
yeah, I mean, it might be that we could, postpone this for a year or two, the other parking place for a year or two.
Yeah. I'm not sure we want to postpone it too long because you lose momentum, from the partnership, but it definitely takes off a little pressure. And we've done a good service here by adding more parking, which is, as we know, when people are adding trails, parking isn't always available, and it's one of the biggest challenges with one of them with trails is putting in parking at the same time. So
are we just one other, I mean, I have
course.
to ask lots of noisy questions, but how much would it cost? And then the other question is, we're going to have signs in this parking area here that remind people that they're going to get locked in if they stay too late, right?
We're going to have some signs like that and some regulatory signs as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And the quote that we were provided includes the striping, the signage, for the ADA for all the parking. So it's going to be all
Okay.
inclusive of that. And it also includes a small path from the ADA parking to the access road. So say you get out of your van with a wheelchair, you'll be able to roll over on this little path and get to the access road around the gate, because the gate will be locked.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we are gonna have some handicap parking in front of the gate. Okay, good.
Well, remember there are two gates, right? So we have to
Right.
manage the first gate being open. That's another, we'll get to that when we get to that. But the second gate will always stay closed because, right?
Oh, because we don't want cars going in.
Right, cars
Right.
on.
Okay,
Okay, so this is the engineering plan that was done, and we had approved it by BTI, or Beals and Thomas goes by BTI. So that's that. Okay, so then don't look at that. Okay, now are you seeing the peninsula, the asphalt engineering quote?
yeah,
Okay, great. So one of the questions that Bill initially asked was this, did it include prevailing wages? And I did not see that this had been written here, but I reached out, they confirmed. So this is, it includes the prevailing wage, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. This first part, so this is the asphalt. So this is the red area. So for just the ADA parking, it's $67.50 for paving. So I'm going to open their diagram now. And they said in the red area, so this is the ADA piece here, right? So their quote is $67.50 just for the paving. Okay.
does that include site prep?
Yeah. So let's go through the quote and see what it is. So there is going to be site prep. Yeah. So this
Okay.
includes, they're going to have some, let's step through it and see. So the
Okay.
engineering plans were very specific about what was needed. And we went back and forth. There is as you may recall, DPW installed gravel parking. So that will serve as the base. They don't have to excavate and start all over from scratch. They can use the base as it has been put there. So this is their description of what the paving would be done for just the ADA, $67.50. For the other section, I'm going to open this up. There is basically $61.85 to get these other 3 spots paved. Okay, so that's the other piece. And then gravel to asphalt by hand, orange area as shown in diagram. Let me just see what the orange area is. Okay, so that's the pathway.
Right.
I'm assuming what they're calling orange there. Okay, so great.
Okay.
So the pathway is then 1,500. So then install ADA van signs, metal posts. That's 900. Erosion control, that's required. Those are the straw wattles. That's 1,250. And line striping is 1,040. So to do both sides, get all the signage and striping at 17,625. Okay, and we've set aside 21,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, the first gate, or the gate that currently exists, the one and only gate that exists right now.
No, there's 2 gates that exist now. There's one, the first one, it's
Okay.
a double. I don't know how you double.
That's the first one that is right
Right at the
adjacent to the road,
correct.
right? And we're not going to have any parking in front of that gate.
Yes, there is currently parking.
Are we
Yeah.
going to do any paving at that point?
No. That's gravel already. That's not ADA.
Okay. Okay.
Can't
Yeah,
block
that's fine.
the gate, but you can park there, and hunters have parked there when the
Okay.
hunting season is opened up and stuff like that.
Okay.
Have they given any location for the signage, metal posts, and
I think let's see, how do they describe it? Here's what the sign looks like. So I don't, we'd have to look at the plan to see. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some regulations that define where the signage goes, right? So we'll make sure that is all on the up and up. Okay.
Okay.
So the question before us is if I think I should put it like this, like if Bill and Travis are comfortable with us moving forward with this quote, and not having to wait for other quotes to come in, although we've reached out diligently, and I can demonstrate I've done that via email and documented phone call to master pavers. If that satisfies the requirement, then if the committee's comfortable with this quote, I'd like to have a vote based on, I'd like to make a motion that the committee approve funding, the ARPA funding that we've set aside for paving that will serve as the Mass Trails Grant match, that we move forward with the quote from Asphalt Engineering, pending confirmation from Travis and Bill that we're comfortable with this quote.
Could we see the signs again?
Here's an example of one sign.
Do these include a reminder that that you'll get locked in after a certain time?
I don't think that they're not going to be responsible for that sign. That's going to be on us because they are responsible for the ADA signs.
Oh,
so that will
okay.
be on the Trails Committee to make sure that any kind of rules and regs about usage of the trail or about parking, as far as the gate being open or closed, will be on us.
Okay, and then, that kind of pushes off the other question I had, which is, have we secured a commitment from whoever is going to be responsible for locking and unlocking?
Right. We talked about it, and we talked about it with DCR, and they were open to coming up with a solution. And I think it depends on staffing, how we do this. If DCR is going to be in the area, or if MWRA, like who is closest in the area that can do it on a regular basis. So we have to work it out, Will. Okay. And I think I also had volunteered. I was like, if they think there's going to be an issue with staffing, then there may be some assistance that the Trails Committee can provide. I do want to be careful that we're not volunteering to unlock the gate every day, 7 days a week.
Because no, I don't want to do that either. But I was just thinking that, as an emergency contact, they could also maybe call the town police and just say, hey, I got locked in by mistake, and
let me out. Like, what do you do if you get locked in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but that won't be on these two signs, so that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so I had made a motion earlier. I don't think I need to repeat.
Nope.
Okay. So are there any questions or comments?
And when will this paving be done?
Ideally this year. So
okay.
What we need to do is we have to do the contracting, but hopefully Mark Purple and Melanie will, contract quickly, and then they have time in their schedule. Asphalt Engineering has time in their schedule to do it this year. So it's an ASAP. It's as soon as everything can get in order.
So we should really get the contracting done in the next 2 weeks, basically.
Oh yeah, I would like if we could agree to this, if we can settle on and say yes by tomorrow, I'd like contracting done by next week. Ideally, if we can work it out, and then we're open to whenever they can pave based on the weather.
Okay.
Yeah, and we already received, I reached out to DCR and MWA again just to confirm, let them know this is happening. And they're good. Both entities confirmed again that they're comfortable with this. And we have our NOI being extended, which the Conservation Commission is meeting on that the 14th, next Thursday.
Okay.
So we had an existing NOI that we're just extending to for another period of time.
Well, I would vote yes.
No, so you have to second it and then we'll vote.
All right, I second the motion.
Thank you. And so let's do roll call vote. Satyendra Sharma?
Yes.
Will Warren?
Yes.
Kat McKee? Yes. Great. So hopefully that will go smoothly. If not, we'll be back at it. Okay, thank you for that. So let me just make sure we talked about that. So yep, and yep. Okay, so we're good. Hopefully we'll be able to, and then this, so obviously I think our match remaining was 20 something, right? So the 17 that we're about to spend plus the 66, if that's what it came into, maybe 6,000, could just be between 6,000 and 66. Those two numbers will equal, will cover our match. We'll actually have exceeded our match, which looks good for the town.
So we don't need to do any labor by the end of the year for our match purposes.
You mean tracking time?
Tracking time or whatever.
Well, I still like to track the time. So if you need,
No, I agree with that. We don't need to do any, like schedule time to go work on a part of the trail or anything like that.
right, we're not going to be lacking in match, but we would like to still continue to track our time to demonstrate, the effort put in and that kind of stuff.
All right.
Great. Okay. Well, that's nice. Thank you for your help there. Okay. So then next up is phase 2. So I think we covered where we were with it last meeting, but on the 23rd, but I'll just recap quickly. We have both of the work order of conditions from Framingham and from Southborough Conservation Commissions. We have mass DEP numbers, yay. And the only thing holding us up right now is the geotechnical contractor who can't get the small excavator out there because it's booked. So we're trying to move that forward as quickly as possible. I've asked the vendor, Beals and Thomas, to find another vendor, just find anyone, obviously qualified to do it, but just try to get it done as soon as possible, because that's putting us off for the bid documents. We need those specs before we can create the bid. So that's a little bit of a delay there, unfortunate, but
Mass DEP has approved the.
Yeah, they've issued their work order condition numbers. They needed mass DEP numbers, so those numbers have been issued. So they reviewed the application, and so everything is on the up and up on those two for Framingham and Southborough. So
for phase 2.
For phase 2.
Yep.
So that's good. Okay, and so that's a little bit about that. Yeah, I don't know if you have any other questions on that. We're just gonna continue to push and ask for them to get it done. But it does look like the bid will be in the beginning of the year. And I mean, we may get lucky, but I don't know exactly if it's good to bid during Christmas time or holiday time. I don't know if that's like a good or bad time. I would be concerned about opening up for 4 weeks and 2 weeks of those being a holiday, right? So I want to have responsive bids. So we might purposely release early January, which is about the time frame we released the last bid. And we got good feedback. I mean, good response. So hopefully we'll get good response on this one. Okay. Next up is Yoga on the Trails. So we had our last Yoga on the Trails on October 26th. It was a success. There was 15 people that participated. Emma Bartolini was the session. She ran the session, so it went really well. It was a good day. So
that was 1026.
1026 was the last Yoga on the Trails. And so that was a great series this year. And we were good attendance. And I think it's something we should look at, each year we can do some regular series. And this year we had good weather. Only one got canceled due to weather. Everything else went off without a hitch. And while we won't necessarily be able to, fund each year 6 or 7 sessions, we may be able to do a few sessions for sure. So I think it's a nice tradition if we want to continue that piece.
Approximately how many people ended up participating, across
well,
the different sessions?
I'd have to go back and do the numbers, but it looked like at least 10 people per set, at least 10 were attending. I'd have to go. She has labeled them in the invoices.
Okay. And we had how many sessions?
It was 2, 4, and 6. So June, July, and August. Wait, no. July, August, September.
5.
It would have been 6, 7, but one canceled, so 6. Let me just see. So I've got her.
Okay, but what you're saying is 50 attendances. I don't know if that's separate people, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. So for example, July, there were 24 people that attended 2 sessions. Some of those are going to be repeats. She was getting a following, which is kind of nice. You get some of the same people that are doing it.
Right.
In August, there were 15 people, 1 session. So these are well attended, I would say. And then September, 21 people in 2 sessions, and then the 15 for October. Yeah. So that's a good class. That's a good
She's doing a great job of advertising these. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, she's really a go-getter, and I appreciate working with Emma because she's very I have set up the Eventbrite, but she's very hands-off. Like she'll handle some of the, I was away some of the time, so she would send out the reminders. She's really very organized and efficient. So we will be writing her a nice letter of recommendation.
Now, do our expenses go up with participants or just the number of sessions?
No, she charges a flat fee per.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were using some old grant money, some choke fund grant, finishing up some of those projects, and then we used a little bit of our annual budget for that. So we were able to spread out the costs a little bit better.
Right.
Than just, yep. So that's that. And so we talked about the Trails Conference. That was good. So interesting. We've had the volunteer open the open seat for a while. I just heard from Melanie in the town who said we received an inquiry from Angel. I don't know how to pronounce her last name or the last person's last name. So we received an inquiry from someone who's interested in supporting the upkeep of trails. So I need to understand if this person wants to be on the committee or if they just want to be a participant, that we call upon to when we do volunteer days. So I will reach out to this person and check in, and then I will invite the person to the next trails meeting if they do want to attend the committee. If they want to participate, join the committee, then we can talk to them at the next meeting.
Okay.
So that was kind of interesting. Okay, so closing out any outstanding projects. So this is, okay, so we are about to purchase some benches finally, right, Will? Benches and some supplies like wood for the trail enhancements that we had ARPA money for. So I'm working with Tim, not Tim, sorry, Travis.
Where are we purchasing them from?
Well, so TBD, because it depends where our tax exempt status. So I need a vendor to be able to, so we have some quotes from different vendors. You've done some research. I've done some research.
Yeah, I got an email. I deleted it, but it's still in my trash. But it was an email about somebody who sells benches and was offering a big discount. So I'll go resurrect that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, please send
useful.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're on a time budget with that because we need to spend our trail enhancement money for ARPA. So I am going to be putting together supply lists to it's for boardwalks, bog bridges, and things like that along the trails that we need. So that's just something we're going to be doing. I'll be working with Travis to button that up next week, and that will help satisfy the final ARPA bucket that we've set aside for trail enhancements and such. So I'll report back at next meeting once that's taken care of. Any questions or comments?
No.
Okay. Next up is DCR work plan. So I've got some interesting news. So not on the work plan though, but the work plan is, Tom's working on it. We'll get it done. I would like to get it done this year. If Tom's able to join us for the next meeting, maybe we can use some of our meeting to be a work session to kind of just get that done together as a group. But I went back to our MOU with DCR, and we're required to provide a certificate of insurance from the town to DCR, naming DCR as the additional insured. So I reached out to Melanie to request the certificate of insurance and provided the information. And Melanie got back to me and said that the insurance broker or insurance company charges $500 for a certificate of insurance. Okay.
And this is insurance from where?
It's just it's a certificate of insurance is literally just listing out the insurances the town currently has: liability, workers' comp, umbrella policy. It just lists out the insurance policies. Insurance companies and brokers do this all the time. They provide certificate of insurances. I do it for work with all my contracting. We have to, get it for a client. We have their name. And it's a free transaction. It's provided because you're buying insurance through the company or the broker. They give you a certificate of insurance and it doesn't cost anything. So I went back and forth with them because I was like, no. You can't charge $500 for a certificate of insurance. That's highway robbery. You can't, who does that? And so I checked in with my insurance broker at work just because I was curious, what am I missing here? And then I also talked to an inside counsel, just a lawyer, and it's unusual for an insurance company to charge that much money for a certificate of insurance. And, sometimes they might charge a nominal fee because people were maybe, to discourage requesting a certificate of insurance, but it really isn't a very unusual cost. So, so we have to pay for it, right? So I said that they could take the $500 out of our annual budget, which is a lot of money for a certificate of insurance that you typically need to provide renewals of. Like, so our insurance policies always renew in a year. So I don't know if this insurance company thinks they're going to get $500 per year. That's not gonna really fly, right? Like, have you guys worked with certificate of insurances or having any experience?
What kind of companies are those? I mean, the we have like home insurance we have. So what kind of companies are these?
Yeah, so they're just companies that provide liability insurance, workers' comp insurance, the standard insurances that all towns or municipalities would
But
have.
this is just listing what we already have, right?
Exactly. It's just a piece of paper that says you have this.
I'll do it for 400.
Right. Like, so, we have to get the certificate of insurance, but I did offer my unsolicited advice as like, I think that we shouldn't be paying $500, so maybe we
Did,
should
did
find
did
different.
you check? Did you check LegalZoom
I checked
online?
Chat GPT. I
No,
did that as well.
LegalZoom.
Well, Chat's got everything. so,
No, no, no.
so
But
my
the thing is, they are company, right? ChatGPT is not a company. LegalZoom is a company.
no, I understand, but and they right, but it's the same. You can look the research up yourselves.
Okay, yeah, I can.
Yeah, you can find it because it's very unusual for companies to charge. So anyway, we're spending $500 of our hard-earned, not money, not hard-earned, but our budget to satisfy the requirements of that memorandum of understanding. So hopefully, I mean, maybe we get lucky and it turns out they don't charge us, and that would be great. But that's what it is for now.
Okay.
I think that's all I have for the things that we need to talk about today. So I guess to circle back to the Mass Trails Grant Phase 1 and the signage. So I'm going to reach out to the sign vendor and let them know that we're going to take a little more time to research some stuff and we're going to connect with the people. So I will be reporting back once I connect with our new contact on the information we're trying to basically include in our signage about Native Americans in this area, and see where we can go from that. And so that promise I made to you to send you out signage, that's going to be a bit delayed now as we work through some of these additional details. But I do want to keep the focus on and try to go ahead and get everything done so that in Q1 we can go ahead and get all the signage, if not starting this at the end of this year, get all that signage ready, and so we'll be able to install next Q1 and get that.
Okay. I sent you the, or I'm
See?
sending you, if I can get your right address, I'm sending you the something from Treetop Products.
From what?
Treetop Products,
Oh, is that from the sign?
that's the bench people, and they have like a 46% discount or whatever. So you might have to open up a PDF file to actually see what they're offering, but
Okay. Is it from a trusted source or did you get spam? Because I'm a little concerned.
No, this is a source. This is a source. And I went to their website when I was shopping, and they, I signed up, and then they sent me this thing.
Thank you.
They're having an overstock sale. All right. So I don't know if it'll be of interest, but
Yeah.
they might have some benches we'd be interested in, and who knows.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that, Will. Okay, so let's talk next meeting if we have a moment. Today is the 7th. So I think, yeah, how is the 21st? Let me think. Yeah, how's the 21st, Thursday, the 21st for everybody?
Yeah,
That's in 2 weeks. What we'll have at that point, we'll have we'll know about the contracting with paving. We'll know about the work order conditions extension from Concom for the existing one. We may have some new updates for geotechnical, and we can have some signage work.
Do we, just out of curiosity, will we essentially be making final decisions and then going out and getting people started on actually doing stuff?
For what?
Because it doesn't leave much time before, the onset of December, right?
I'm not quite sure of the question. Can you say that one?
At the meeting on the 21st.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Are we going to be approving something so that we can go ahead?
I don't know if we will have anything ready to approve. As far as signage, is that what you're thinking?
Oh, no, I'm thinking more about paving. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, I think we've done our approvals for paving, unless there's something comes back that says, no, you need to get another quote because the non-responsives, we still need another quote. Unless we get from that, we're going to move into contracting. So I should know that by tomorrow. So I don't think we'll have paving approvals. I don't know that we'll have anything specific. There may be some questions that come up that we could discuss, of course, but I don't think we'll have any approvals that we'll need for that.
Okay, and we're talking 7:30 p.m. meeting.
Yeah, on the 21st.
All right.
How does that work for you, Sati?
It's fine.
Perfect. All right, good. So thank you very much. I'll send out invites to everyone for that. And if there's nothing else before the committee, can someone make a motion to adjourn at 8:19?
I will, Warren, make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I second it.
Great. Let's do a vote. Roll call. Satyendra Sharma,
Yes.
Will Warren,
Yes.
and Kat McKee. Yes. Great. Thank you all. Very efficient. And
Thank you.
we shall see you in a couple weeks.
Oh,
Okay.
one last quick question. Have we found any victims to join the committee?
Well, remember, I just noted that we had an inquiry, so I just need to reach out to the person to see if they were actually interested in joining the committee or if they just wanted to volunteer to do trails work when we do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll sort that out. Hopefully
All right.
it's the committee joining. Okay.
Okay, good.
All right. All right, everyone. Take care and have a great night.
Thank
You
you.
too.
You too.
Bye-bye.